Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Creeping It Colorful. It is Sinister Saturday. I will hand the mic over to Mark, and he will tell us a tale in the book How They Croaked.
Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France, born in Corsica, France, August 15th, 1769, died the island of St. Helena, May 5th, 1821, 51 years old. Napoleon got to be the Emperor of France because he wanted to. Nobody else was running France after the French Revolution, so it was his for the taking. It didn't matter that his diplomatic skills were weak. Nothing says I'm in charge better than setting off a cannonball in your yard. There are plenty of famous paintings of Napoleon seizing other countries and appearing manly with his hand tucked in his shirt. Turns out he was just protecting his weakest spot, his stomach. What killed him was growing right under his hand. Napoleon got into military school at 9 years old because his dad knew somebody who knew somebody. Pretty soon, Napoleon had cast iron resolve about what he'd be when he grew up. And even though he grew up shorter than most and always had something to prove, he was a man on a mission. His map reading and attack from behind strategies made him the best player of capture flag in the whole world. He took over Italy, Austria, and Prussia, Germany, and a mess of other places. Napoleon became famous for pillaging, looting, and killing 5 million friends and foes and not caring one little bit. Napoleon was married twice, but he was always off at one battlefield or another. Even when he was home, his heart wasn't in it. His first wife, Josephine, didn't miss him that much, and his second wife, Marie Louise, was Marie Antoinette's grandniece, was too busy raising Lafayette, Napoleon II, to care. Great Britain, Austria, Russia, and Prussia had enough of Napoleon. They took over Paris and forced Napoleon to give up. He was exiled to the island of Elba. He hated islands. There wasn't much conquer, much to conquer, and once he did, he'd be out of work. Napoleon escaped from the island toward the Suite. He returned to France and got back in power. 100 days later, British and Prussian armies defeated Napoleon at Waterloo, and he was captured again. Exile location number two was another island, St. Helena, a 70-day sail to a dot in the middle of the southern Atlantic Ocean. But Napoleon wasn't alone. There were 5 warships and 3,000 annoyed English officers stuck there to guard him, many of whom slept with a pencil and paper under their pillow so they could take notes and later write about Napoleon in their memoirs. After sitting around the island for 5 years, killing nobody, Napoleon's body grew a deep layer of fat. His body became feminized. Feminized. It got soft and curvy. Luckily, artists weren't doing his portrait anymore because it would have looked like a painting of a pear-shaped old lady. He lost all his hair except that on his head. The sun gave him a headache and he needed help standing. Plus, there was a piercing pain in his stomach that never quit. He had hiccups that went on for days and days. Not the cute kind, but the kind that people try to scare out of a person. It's a good guess. Napoleon was hard to scare. To make him better, doctors used chemical warfare on the lining of Napoleon's stomach. This triggered vomiting on a massive scale. They also mixed together a manly dose of highly explosive ingredient known to detonate an intestinal bomb with 100% accuracy. The resulting poop gave new meaning to the phrase surprise attack from behind. Unfortunately for everyone, Napoleon, did you know? Unfortunately for everyone, Napoleon did you know what right in the bed every couple hours. For the next few days, it was said to be impressive. While the doctors took a break, Napoleon's valet de chambre worked nonstop, changing the sheets and sneaking moments to write about the experience. Napoleon got worse. Then the doctors actually blistered his thighs and stomach trying to release what was killing him. This was followed by a soothing smear of wax, resin, and mutton suit. Flies were attracted to all the interesting things going on around Napoleon, and swatting flies off Napoleon was one more task for the busy valet until the patient was put under a net. On his last day, Napoleon was laughing crazily and throwing up black stuff. So the doctors blistered his feet, his chest, and one calf. His eyes opened and then rolled back in his head. Napoleon was dead. He died on May 5th, 1821. He was 51 years old. His body was washed and laid out on his old army cot. Word hit the street quickly on the island. We're going home, and 3,000 soldiers started packing. The next morning, a famous sketch was drawn of Napoleon's dead body. Napoleon's valet did a drawing too, but he put himself in the foreground, faking grief. That was right before he took some of Napoleon's goodies he felt he deserved, a glass and a pen. The doctors did an autopsy. The chest was open. Surprise, there was a heart. It was cut out and put into a jar. Then they found what had killed him, a cancerous stomach ulcer. It was in the spot where Napoleon had his hand in so many paintings. Finally, the dead body was sewn back together. Napoleon's valet took the bloody autopsy sheet and cut it up for souvenirs. The valet also cut off all Napoleon's hair to put in frames and, lockets. Cat's laying on my mic. After a big ceremony and a gun salute, Napoleon was put in the ground under some trees. Their branches were stripped for souvenirs. The 3,000 officers were in the streets, not paying their respects, but getting in line to catch the first boat out of there. The valet went home with 3 lead scaled trunks. 19 years after Napoleon died, the British allowed Napoleon's remains to be returned to France. First, they took a quick peek inside Napoleon's coffin to make sure he was still dead. Then they took his corpse back to Paris, where he now lies in Napoleon's tomb, an ornate place for a hero, except he wasn't one. Napoleon had wanted his heart sent to his wife, but as in life, she never received it. Footnotes. First ambulance. Baron Dominique Jean Larry, a private surgeon to Napoleon, created the first ambulance for the wounded men on the battlefield in 1792. Even when with battlefield ambulances, 500,000 of his own men, 1/6 of the French population, were killed in the Napoleonic Wars. The first motorized ambulance was invented in 1895 and used by the French Army Corps in 1900. Napoleon Complex. A Napoleon complex describes people who think they have a shortcoming and try to cover it up by overdoing other things in their lives. They say Napoleon's crazy desire to take over the world was to compensate for being short. Napoleon was average in height for the times, 5'5". He just seemed short because he hung around his imperial guards who were extra tall. St. Helena, 1,750 miles from South Africa, 1,800 miles from South America, 4,000 miles from England, 700 miles from the closest island, Ascension Island. As in Napoleon's time, the only way to get to St. Helena is by ship. All right, books about Napoleon. According to the historian Paul Johnson, there are many books written about Napoleon than about any other person except Jesus. For example, 12 people in Napoleon's inner circle on South Helena wrote books about him. 3 doctors, 3 valets, and 3 army men, 1 female friend, and 1 local official, and 1 teenage girl. Rest in peace, Mr. Napoleon Bonaparte. The end.
Alrighty then. Such a going on that poor little guy had, huh? He really had a lot of gas, it seems. Explosive at times. And there was a lot of people who had to clean up after him. And decided that they were going to write about it. And man, I don't know. I don't think they would have paid me enough to take care of that kind of a thing. But alrighty. Let's get off that kind of a topic. The picture that I'm doing is one that I had on my list to do for May, and it's the only one I had that was going to be a Memorial Day type of picture. So right now I'm using what is called chalk pastel. I can show you what they look like in case you don't know. And this is what they look like. And then I just shave them off, and I have my little palette over here of my shavings. And then I just pick off of them and sprinkle it on there, and then use my finger. Because it's fun to get messy with when you're doing stuff, right? And it's quicker this way. Look at that mess. This one was a pretty quick picture to do. It wasn't too much. Now for some reason I didn't pick the color for her skin color. So that's the only thing I'm going to have to do. And then I'm going to outline what I did do color in gel pen. So we'll have that. I think I'm going to do the bottom part kind of in red, but I want to do a little more blue right here. I like this stuff because it's easy to spread, and it's soft looking once you're done. So I'm going to do red in the bottom half here. Alright, now I'm going to have to get a wipey. Get the blue off, or I'm going to be making purple on the page. So, alright, let's see if we can get most of that blue off of there. Alrighty. I don't know, this red doesn't seem too red, but we're going to make sure. I'm going to put this cord of my mic is like in the way, hanging around. There we go. And see how easy that goes on? You just rub it in the little crevices. It's an easy way to color. And the best part is like this part here, all I have to do is erase it with an eraser, and it'll be okay to color that. And I'll just put whatever I have left on my board in little containers so I can reuse it. Don't waste any of it. And it blends cool too. But Yep, this was a very easy picture and quick, which is good because last month it seemed I dropped the bomb on some of my pages. So I don't want to do them fast and they don't look nice, but I still want to get them done. And I left a little bit on the bottom here so I could do like a little bit of red on the bottom. And there we go. Looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to wipe my fingers off again, and we're going to get into going over the other parts with gel pen. I have to get this away from me, or I'm going to spill it on me or somewhere it shouldn't be. I got it all over. How'd you guys like how many times I had to sharpen my Prismacolor red? My goodness, it was giving me a hassle. It was not fun. Clean up this mess. Alrighty, now we're ready for the next phase. So I'm just going to take my gel pen and I'm going to highlight wherever they have lines in the skirt here. That way I'm covering up some of the black that's in there. It'll look like it's part just like the skirt. It won't look like it's got black lines through it. There is a method to my madness. I think we are going to be going into a different book. Mark has had enough of reading out of that book. He's excited to read out of another book that I gave him. And so next Saturday will be a different book that he'll start reading stories from. And the book is called Unsolved Deaths, Strange Deaths and Mysterious Disappearances by Charles Phillips. So that will be our next go around. I'm going to make these little nubbies here. I'm going to just do those in her eye and let the rest go. And oh, we got to get the red going here for the top. Love my glitter pens. This one wasn't too creepy of a page to do, but it's still creepy enough. And it's just as easy as that. Finding all those little nooks and crannies that are in there. We'll go across the belly part here. Outline everything. Really, I'm not trying to race through this one. It's just that it's going pretty good for me right now. Alrighty. I'm going to have to get myself a black. Hopefully I can find one. I didn't get my black gel pen out of my mess here. I think I got one, but it looks like it's going to be empty. Hopefully it's not. Okay, we'll do her hair. It's a glitter gel pen also, so we'll just go around these. These are bows that are in her hair. So that's why I did those in silver. Because I knew I was going to do her hair black. I might blend these colors a little bit though. But I'm going to wait till the gel pen I should have did that before the gel pen, but now it is too late, so I will just let it dry and work my way around it. I'm hoping you guys can see the glitter part. It'll make the hair stand out a little bit. It works pretty good. See, coloring doesn't have to be that stressful or that complicated. Just get out your markers, your pens, your pencils, and just have at it. Have fun. She looks like alfalfa with these little specks up here, little specks of hair. Anybody else ever watch the Little Rascals? Know who I'm talking about? Alfalfa. And Froggy with his funny voice. And Buckwheat. All those fun characters. Back in the day. And Darla. I forget what the bully's name was. Of course, there was always a bully somewhere along the line. And then there was always another one was Dennis the Menace. He was like always in it. He was in his terrible twos forever. He was just, whatever could go wrong went wrong with that boy. Talk about a stressful childhood. Well, not only that, the stress he caused his parents. Because they were always like, he was always getting in trouble and they always had to try to get him out of it. Oh, Mr. Wilson. And poor Mr. Wilson, the next door neighbor. He liked him so much. He wanted him so much to like him back. And I still remember the episode where, I don't know what he did to Mr. Wilson, but he remember he used 2 white chiclets for Mr. Wilson's front teeth. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he had gone to the dentist and got his teeth pulled or what the heck happened, but I remember he got 2 white chiclets and put them in Mr. Wilson's mouth for teeth while he was sleeping. Such weird memories. I'm going to go around these guys so they stand out a little bit better. Oh, I want to go around her eyeballs. Two little nose holes. And let's see. Oh, I was going around these because these were gray and they were kind of taken away from the black lines. Got stuff on the end of my pen there. Boy, this pen doesn't look like it has anything in it, but it's going strong still. I shouldn't have said that. You know what happens when you say stuff like that. Okay, almost done. And then I will do her skin tone off camera and post a picture. In the meantime, you guys need to stay happy, stay healthy, stay colorful, stay creative, and stay true to yourself. And stay stress-free. I know, it's easier said than done sometimes. And I believe that will be it. I'm not going to do the outlines of her until I do a coloring for her arms and for her face. Let me just show you what I mean by, see how I got this chalk in here? All you got to do is erase it. It's that easy. And then you just color it with the colors that you want. So you can be as sloppy as you want with that chalk. It isn't going to matter because you can just erase it and not have to worry. I'm going to put a little bit of red in there then. And that shall be it. I hope you enjoyed this little fun fact about Napoleon Bonaparte. And he even had a weird name, Bonaparte. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye for now. Oh, by the way, before you go, hit the thumbs up for if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and like I said before, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.